Finally, some more primer has turned up, so I have then been working hard on revision 2 to the Biz paint booth, which is where I am right now. So we're in some kind of crazy car horror movie where there's body parts hanging from everywhere. So you see the two front wings that I was doing the other day, got to do the inside of those, inside and outside of the two rear quarters, and then new boot lid, and then one of the skeleton parts for the quarters to sit on. So yeah, time to crack the heater on in here, get this place nice and warm, and then get catching up on all the stuff that I'd missed out on doing from Saturday when I planned to do this, in an effort then, so hopefully try and put the car, or start putting the car back together this weekend coming. So yeah, better get cracking, lots to do, probably be working through the night, but I think it'll be worth it, and hopefully I won't keep getting stuff caught on me, like what just happened just then. Ooh, that's coat one down. Kept it a little bit thinner on the backs, saving weight and all that, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, looking good. Let that one tack off and then we'll come out for round 2. Okay, so that's coat 2 on. Didn't go quite as smoothly as I'd hoped. Learning all the time. Yeah, so when I'd come out from, you know, making the second batch of paint up for the second coat, yeah, there was either some form of a blockage or something like that within the paint gun itself. So when I was starting to do the top of the boot lid over there, it was probably only putting out a fraction of the amount of paint it should have been. And also, yeah, there's a massive drip of paint like coming from, you know, the actual needle that the paint was coming out of. So had a quick chat with Adam. He said, yeah, obviously a bit of blockage and a bit of something stuck on the end of the needle itself. So gave it a good clean up. And then, yeah, managed to get around doing all of this again. So everything's looking nice and fresh and white. Apart from this wing, I made up plenty of paint this time, but obviously because of the issue with the needle and stuff like that in the paint gun, I then fell short of the amount of paint. So it's not the end of the world. I've still got another entire batch of stuff to do primer on. So I'll just make sure that one's left hung up for the other day. But yeah, so done all the insides of the panels as well, because they are going to be color coded silver to match the wheel wells, because I want everything to look nice and smart for that. And then also, yeah, we've got nice double coating of covering and stuff on the front cross member. So get this one sanded down because I want that one to be the nice metallic black to match the rest of it, and also to make everything else look smart. So yeah, now it's time to get into the workshop, finish cleaning up the gun, ready for tomorrow's go, and yeah, then get some sleep because it's quite late here now. So catch you tomorrow. Well, I was working late until last night, managed to get the remaining parts of the priming stuff done. So yeah, it looks like it's been snowing in here, just all the wonderful primer dust. But yeah, here are all the other kind of little mini ancillaries and stuff like that. So yeah, little thing for the dash to stand on, the throttle pedal bracket, steering boss. So yeah, this is now going to be an absolute mix of things that are going between black and silver. So better get the mask on, start sanding this stuff down, because I need to make sure that I get the front cross member done tonight, so then we can actually stand a chance of putting the engine in and start rebuilding the LS tomorrow. So time to get stuck in again, making more dust, more cleaning, more hoovering. I think I'm spending more time doing that kind of stuff at the moment than anything else, but needs to be done, and I think the car is already starting to look good because of it, so I think the effort is worth it in the long run. So another late night, but very happy with the results. So this is the roof. Look at the flake in that. Also you can see me, hey, in the reflection. A few little bits and pieces that have landed in the paint or the lacquer, hopefully. But yeah, as you can see, the kind of state where I'm working in, it isn't exactly 100% perfect spray booth, but mega chuffed with that. Had it out in the sun this morning and it looks phenomenal. More importantly, got the cross member done, so that is ready to whip into the car this morning so we can actually start doing the rebuild. And then this bad boy as well, so we've got the black part on the boot lid done. Maybe got a little bit carried away with the lacquer in a couple of small spots and just started to see the run, but yeah, overall pretty damn happy with that. Again, for only my second ever attempt at using lacquer. Again, you can see me in the reflection, hello. So yeah, mega chuffed. Time to get building up this car. Got to dig out the thing that's behind the curtain over there. That is the engine. Give that a little bit of a clean up and start putting it in. Here we go. Look who's back. Sporting her nice shiny new cross member. You can still see me, I can still wave in it. Hey, look at the definition. Woo! Cool. Right, so first things first, it's up on the axle stands, wheels are off, so it's going to be fitting the new DEI reflector gold. So we're going to come along the chassis legs, over the bulkhead, but also we have the new under floor, so that's the tunnel shield that's going to go down to protect mine and the passenger's feet as well. So that's job number one, and then we can bring in the big girl, put the V8 back in place and start really seeing this thing come together. Now that's what I'm talking about. Got the nice black there against the gold. So we did, obviously, as you saw in the previous videos, that all the paint had burnt off here in the past, so made sure we got plenty of good stuff on there. Obviously went around the bulkhead and stuff. And this is the floor and tunnel shield too. So self-adhesive, nice and easily sculpted. We ended up just using a pair of scissors to cut this in the end, which made it a lot easier. I had some snips, but yeah, the scissors actually did a neater job. So I've got that under both sides to protect the feet. So hopefully that'll stop the discoloration of the paint from all the heat off the headers in the future. So getting closer now to actually be able to lift the monster back into place. So yeah, a few little jobs first, but we'll get onto it. So we're at the momentous point now where we're just about to get ready to put the LSZ, or the LS, back into the LSZ, sorry. Front cross member is on. We're going to try it a slightly different way to normal. Usually I try and swing it in over the top of this thing, but because it's all freshly painted, I didn't want to get it scratched. So I've hooked it up to this now. It's just hanging in free air and sat on the jack with the gear stick on. Also got Advocaat's transmission loop in, and already put on the two oil filter lines as well, which go straight into the oil pan here, just to make things easy whilst we had access. So right, time to get lifting this baby in. So things are coming on nicely. Gave the hubs a bit of a sand down, but yet suspension and arms are currently in place. But now we are on to steering rack. So yeah, this is a replacement because the previous tie rods are actually so stiff they were pulling the seals out at the end of this one. So just transferring all the stuff off my broken rack onto this one. So we've got these little lines here, flexible ones instead of the original solid ones down there. Obviously then had to move across the tie rods, but we are now going to be putting on Tom's from Advocaat's little kit for the 350Z. So instead of these horrible like fittings and stuff that we've got going on here, so feed and return, we've now got the little banjo bolts, which give us more space in here, which is where, you know, with Jason's cut he's done on the rack, it pushes those fittings right hard up against this part here and against the engine mount. So hopefully with these new little banjo bolt connections and obviously Tom's PCFE lines that he's made up, we'll gain some space back and also gain a little bit more kind of reliability and safety, because I've always been worried that one of those fittings is going to snap off and then break, and then we're going to obviously be stuck for the rest of the weekend. So looking forward to getting these ones on and having a bit more of a neat living station. Morning guys, you can probably tell by my voice I'm pretty knackered. I was up painting until about 1 AM last night and made a few schoolboy errors. So first off, when I was painting the quarter, got my suit caught. Probably can't see it because of the sunshine. Suit caught in the quarter, so that then upset that. We had a small reaction as well, not good. Then it turns out that I thought that I'd done a great job on this one and the other bits and pieces, but when I held this piece up to the car, it was actually a different colour. So I think that my hanging strategy for the parts, you know, on the ceiling of the garage just isn't working, unfortunately. So yeah, it means I've got to take another step back, re-prep those and get those going again. So I thought, right, let's get crack on, get the diff done. Managed to do a wonderful job of painting the rear housing. Very chuffed with that. So I wanted to do that, so then I have a quick method of seeing which ratio. So I'm going to do the other ratio in a silver. But the story about that is, kids, when you're welding a diff like this, make sure you put the half shafts in first. I did that when I welded the 350Z diff, But when I welded the 370Z diff yesterday, I didn't. So when I came to put the half shafts in this morning, met a big brick wall, hammer, 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 all this kind of stuff, and the bloody thing would not go in. So if you guys have a unit like this for a 350Z or 370Z, because you've changed out your diff to a two-way or something like that, please get in touch. I need one desperately. Thank you. So went through all that hassle, yawn, yawn, yawn. So ended up managing to build the diff up, made one good one out of two. And the other good thing is today got the Dave Mack prop in place. So finally I actually got the measurements right for this one. It's looking sweet. So now the next thing will be to see whether the Advocult lines that I have that are going to fit in and around there, I'll start climbing out again, are going to fit in place with the prop shaft, because we haven't actually ever had the prop in place when we've done those measurements, but luckily it's exactly the same diameter as the carbon fibre one that was in there before. So big mess of parts now. So we've got all the lines from Tom, DEI shrouds as well to go over some of these because the routing past the headers is pretty tight. So yeah, that is the next job. So looking forward to getting these in, because at least we know those things fit. Overall, it's just going to be whether or not they're tight to the prop or not. So wish me luck. Hey guys, well hopefully you can tell by my voice and the fact that I've got a nice clean shaven face that yeah, ended up having a down tools session yesterday. Not really doing a great deal, just so I kind of recuperate after everything that happened over the weekend. But yeah, literally fresh face now, come back out and got started with a few other bits. So some of Tom's lines from Advocult are fitted under the car. I'll show you those later on. This is very trick though, his new Davies Craig water pump bracket. Very happy with that one. So yeah, all these fittings need to be tightened up, the AN16s, because turns out I don't actually have a spanner big enough for them, which is a bit kind of embarrassing. Anyway, yeah, so managed to get most of the meth kit in, got the header tanks in, so starting to make steps in the right direction. So now going to go ahead and get these two bad boys kitted out with the DEI coverings. So yeah, these ones are going to have to run down this side down here, so they're going to be pretty close to the headers at times. So that's why I wanted to get these things on here, just to give the lines a bit of extra protection. And these things can take some serious heat, which is awesome. So yeah, get those ones fitted up, and then we're going to have to look at doing a weld on boss. Oh, actually, you look over my shoulder onto the end of this one, so we can connect in one of these lines, and then we can then put on the AN16 adapter onto this one, so the other pipe can come round from under here and straight into there. And then we have actually got the cooling system complete, so it'd be in a position where it could almost hold water. So starting to make some really big strides forward now. Obviously I've got to go through all that stuff that I tried painting on Saturday night, rub that all down, get ready to paint that again, but I'm not even going to touch that tonight. That's going to be tomorrow night's job. I just want to do some mechanical stuff today because I know I can get that stuff done, and yeah, we'll focus on painting again tomorrow. Okay, so apologies I'm doing this on the floor, but you know, sometimes you just want to get stuck in. I haven't got the space on the workbench at the moment. So, get these bad boys out. So this should be about 3 feet in length. Ta-da! Actually, I'll see if I can get you up on a bit of a better vantage point. That's a little bit better. So yeah, you can see that? Nice gold length. Velcro front to back. So what we'll do is just pick one of these lines at random. Hopefully just simply wrap this around here, and then Velcro it on. What could be easier? Also helps though if you can keep the pipe straight when you're doing it, but you know, points for ingenuity. There we go. Cracking. go. Simple as that. Protected, ready for the hard, arduous duty cycle of drifting. Well, I've done a few bits I want to do. Usually it doesn't take long before you have to do a job that you really don't want to do. And for me, again, stainless steel welding. So that I've now got to weld onto there. So then this AN line that comes around here will fit nicely onto the end of there. So got the Artex set out again, cleaned it all up. I think it's time to get stuck in and give this a go. Okay, so the painting saga continues. Last night I was getting ready to paint the 2 rear quarters and the 2 front wings and the other rear light blank because obviously we had a couple of reactions on a couple of bits of those bits, and obviously the front wings hadn't got any paint on apart from primer. So got cracking, laid them all out on the table this time because I found that, like I said before, hanging around up on the wires up here meant that everything kind of swung around and didn't get an even coverage of paint and stuff on it. So this time I worked on laying it down on the workmate and then moving those parts that were painted elsewhere in the garage. Everything was going fine. Then on this panel I had an enormous reaction, as in it was covering like probably all of this whole section here. Turns out, so the painting I was doing last night and probably the painting I had done over the weekend that I was struggling on, I was putting the black on far too heavy. So base coat needs to be super, super light covering, and then dry it out really quickly, either if you have a paint booth with that or with the heat gun. So thank you to Mr. Simmons again for your fantastic advice and kind of re-explanation of what happened. I managed to get paint on everything, a real nice deep coat of black now, so there's no light bits on anything. There's a fair bit of trash and stuff in the lacquer, which a little bit disappointed about, but the good thing is these panels are going to be predominantly covered by the wrap. So if I'm going to practice on anything, I'm glad it happened on this one. So yeah, obviously for things like the bumpers and things like the bonnet and stuff like that that are going to be right on view and, you know, kind of things that you will directly look at, yeah, we'll make sure that we've got that covered for that one. So even managed to recover this panel, so let that one dry out and dried it again with the heat gun, then rubbed it all the way back with 500, and then actually managed to start laying the paint on it again, layer after layer after layer. Probably took several, well, I'd probably say 6-7 coats of super, super light coverage, but with the heat gun dried that off, then managed to get the lacquer on there. And yeah, we've got a nice shine again. So yeah, pretty chuffed with that one. So now time to get these ones out and remask them up because they need to be done silver on the insides. So yeah, time to get that going on and yeah, get prepped for the next round of painting, which will be silver on these, all the little mini ancillaries, and then hopefully by that time we will have everything back from Firefly. So we've got 2 bumpers, skirts and bonnets still to come from those boys. And then we'll have a complete kit, and then hopefully by then as well the design guys will also be ready with the wrap, so we can go and drop that off even if the car isn't running, to go and have it done. So yeah, lots of steps still to happen, but we're heading in the right direction.